kit, or you can buy your own lens. And or kit means basically a lens comes with the body. Be forewarned that sometimes the kit lenses are not always the best lenses, but if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of money to spend, you do not need a $5,000 camera.
I still work with, I only have a Nikon D80, and I still work with the lens that came with the kit. You know, I also have another lens, but it totally does the job as well.
I mean, there are photographers that shoot a little point and shoots, and you can still get good quality, and do like maybe some post-processing later. You don't need big fancy long lenses. There's so many photographers with these huge long lenses, and it's so like it's not that it's their style, but you don't need it. When and where. So lots of photographers have multiple lenses, and that can work really well. Like at the Masquerade, when you shoot the Masquerade, you're usually very limited to your locations. I found that sitting on the floor next to the judges table is usually the best spot. Like you get a press badge and they don't care. But you need a telephoto because sometimes the stage is really far away from where you are, and people are moving on the stage, and the light's really low. So having a different lens is really nice. And usually, like when if it's a big con, like near Anime Fest, there was like 20 photographers like in the pit, which is there's no pit, but yeah, and we were all like, we were just like passing lenses back and forth and trying each other's lenses out during the show. So you know, obviously, like most photographers are usually comfortable like to test out, like you know, oh, you want to try my white lens? Okay, you know, because we're all just
Equipment exchange, yeah.
Equipment exchange.
Ooh, fancy.
Okay, and then when you shoot, there's two ways to shoot. There's shoot in RAW and shoot in JPEG. And RAW is basically, it's like uncooked meat. It is there has been no processing. Your camera has done nothing to this file, no compression. It is a large file. And you can take it and open it in Photoshop or Lightroom, Bridge, and you can process it yourself, first process. And the great thing about RAW is it never, when you're processing it, you're never processing the original file. You're basically like creating this like side file that'll sit with it. Whenever you load that RAW image, it'll pull up this file. So you're never editing the original. And that's something that like, I'll go into later. So never edit your original file. Always copy. Before you edit anything, copy it twice. Because,
especially even when you're working in RAW, most of the time when I work in Photoshop, it won't save over the RAW ever. So just make sure that it doesn't ever save over that RAW file.
Yeah. That way you never have an issue where you've lost the files are corrupted, and then you get like a mad cosplayer, like knocking at your door. I used to shoot almost all in RAW. And then I started taking like 3,000 photos at a convention, and I stopped doing that. And it's bad because RAW is better, yeah. And I'm bored, I can't afford new memory cards. But when I shoot like if I'm doing like a private shoot at not a con, or I'm doing a shoot with like a guest or something, I will shoot obviously in RAW, and I make that decision when I'm shooting. And it also depends on what you want your last output to be. If you plan to print this to like 20 by 30 on the wall, and you want it to like sell, and you want to make money, like ridiculous money, shoot in RAW. But this is like, I'm shooting for cosplayers. It's going on Flickr. I do like a book at the end of the year, but max this is like 8. So you can take it from there. And then memory cards. You can, there are speeds, and they have, ultra premium express.
Whatever, they do things.
Yeah, it really depends on your camera. If your camera can't process as fast as the memory card can process, it doesn't really matter.
That's like that moment where you're waiting for the picture to show up on the screen because your memory card's too slow.
Yeah, like the multi-burst mode speed, if you shoot like continuous, there's going to be a point where your camera can't take any more pictures, and there's going to be a point where your memory card has to sort of save them all. And that's just, you know, when you're buying your camera, you make that decision. You do not have to buy the fanciest memory card. Obviously, I do recommend buying brand names. Like the cheap non-brand names will die faster. And you should format your memory card on a pretty regular basis. And if you're formatting it, basically it's like if you're on Windows, you right-click it, and there's like a format. So after you've done like a big shoot, you've copied it and support a bunch, format it, and it'll keep the memory card in good shape for like a longer period of time. But
rather than going to the actual memory card and deleting the files one by one, it's not really healthy for the memory card. It's better if you format it.
Well, that's one thing. If you had a corruption and you deleted the photos, you can pay someone some money and they will actually find, if you've never formatted the card, they'll find all the images because they sit there. The zeros and one binary code is still there on that card, which is why formatting is a good idea. Shoots. Basically, a private shoot in the idealism is you and a cosplayer are having an agreement that you as a photographer, this is your shoot, you run the shoot, and a cosplayer is they're expecting A, B, and C. And I don't care if other photographers share my shoots with me, as long as they don't get in my way. Some photographers can be, if it's your shoot, you can say, you are in my way. It's allowed. I mean, like, you have to think that you're like the director of the show.
I appreciate input every once in a while if somebody else wants to join in, if they have an idea for a better pose or a better angle. Sometimes it's really, like, it's nice to work together. But yeah, again, you're right.
So you can ask cosplayers and go up to cosplayers, and it's hard to sort of like not be that photographer person. It's sort of be like, hey, I'm a photographer, I'm learning, or I really want to get some more interesting cosplay into my portfolio. Do you mind, you have 10-15 minutes of your time to sort of pose for me? I've got some great locations, or I've got a studio set up over here, do you mind? Obviously, like, if you haven't done much going for like the big cosplayer, you know, they might be more or less a little wary because they care about what they look like, obviously, and they don't want pictures of themselves that are unflattering on the internet because they're things and stuff. But I mean, there are a lot of great cosplayers that are not well known. The thing that I did earlier this year, I did the shoot of Silent Hill cosplayers at Anime Central this year, and this is like their second or third cosplay. They just came up to, I run a photo booth at con, they came up to us, and this nurse, this freaking amazing, sorry, her mask like went like this when she breathed. And they were really cool. And I said, do you have time? Can you come back at 7 o'clock when my shift's over and we can go outside and grab some shots? And they were totally into it. They showed up on time, which was shocking. We did like a quick 15-20 minute shoot outside, great location, and then I crisscrossed with them to like the wazoo. So, but it turned out really well, and it blew up all over the internet. It was on a whole bunch of like Otaku and all that stuff. Mostly because I put it on Twitter, which I'll talk about later. So basically, you know, you don't have to get the most amazing cosplay in the world and take pictures of it. You know, you can ask your friends if they're willing to post for you. Go online, talk to people, be like, I'm starting out.
Most of the people that post for me are still my friends, so good idea.
And if cosplayers ask you and you want to take their photo, you know, obviously, there you go. That's usually when you adapt your style and you've been shooting for a while, people will come up to you and ask you because they want this style for their costume, and that really works really well. Expected of you as the photographer. I tell people how long it's going to take me to process an image. I don't You know, don't tell them, if you can process, you know, 5 shoots in 2 days, then more power to you. I've got a job, and this is not my job. And it takes me 2 to 3 weeks